Hello, my name is Jela Steinerová, and my topic of this presentation is the ecological and ethical contexts of digital literacy in light of phenomenographic studies. My agenda includes objectives and the account of meta-analysis, including focus on the concepts of digital literacy, information ecology, and information ethics, and related phenomenographic studies. I will also report on 3 phenomenographic studies in Slovakia. Then I will try to redefine digital information literacy, namely including ecological and ethical factors to the concept. I will present a conceptual model and some conclusions and proposals. The objectives of my presentation are to explore new contexts of digital literacy. And I ask some questions, especially which new insights could bring concepts of information ecology and information ethics to digital literacy. Which new aspects could reveal phenomenographic studies of information literacy and information ethics, and which ecological and ethical factors are decisive for conceptualization of digital information literacy. As for the methodology, I used meta-analysis of selected 37 studies focused on phenomenography, digital literacy, information ecology, and information ethics. I also used conceptual modeling, and I analyzed in detail 3 phenomenographic studies done in Slovakia. The focus was ecological and ethical factors as common factors to all of these studies. As for the digital literacy, I defined the concept in line with the Paul Dierster's original definition as the cognitive ability to understand information in different formats presented by computers. Digital literacy is connected to many related concepts, including information literacy, media literacy. Some of the authors use the framework which use the concept of digital literacy. It is connected with pervasive digital forms of communication in learning and research, with personal development and connection to information practices of people, use of digital resources and digital tools, communication and collaboration. And this has been reflected in some recent international frameworks developed by IFLA, UNESCO, DISC, or ACRL. But what is interesting for me in this presentation, it is digital knowledge practices as the core of the concept of digital literacy. And some authors proved that this concept needs reconceptualization in light of knowledge practices and socio-cultural frameworks of information practices. That's why I'm further interested how this is connected to information ecologies and information ethics. Related phenomenographic studies are focused mainly on experience and variation of experience, of human experience regarding the information literacy, but also the use of digital information knowledge practices in socio-cultural frameworks. The main components are interactions with the information environment and participation in digital social networks, information production, and creativity. But it is also the values of information, which can be regarded as utility, activity, and cognitive development, including critical thinking and social benefits of information use. And many new concepts have emerged with the use of phenomenographic studies related to information literacy. For example, informed learning by Bruce, information landscapes by Lloyd, some socio-cultural backgrounds and new relations to information retrieval, information seeking by Limberg and Sundin, but also social and ethical interactions by Boone and Weber and many others. information ecology. It is a subject of information science, again, a holistic concept of interactions of people and the information environment, but we can find some information ecologies, some concepts of information ecologies in plural, because these determine the adaptation and sociocultural evolution and the reuse of information. Information ethics represents, again, a subject of information science and theory, but in practice, it is connected with the art of fair use of information, which is based mainly on values of information. Here we can use the famous model by Floridi, which regards information as a resource, as a product, as a target, and of course I analyzed some other works by Kapler-Stahl and others. And I was curious, how is this research of information ethics and information ecology is related to digital literacy research? All these analyses of phenomenographic studies, information ecologies, and information ethics research led me to build a new conceptual space of digital information literacy at the intersection between digital literacy and information literacy concepts. And I regard digital information literacy here as personal, social, and ethical information interactions, personalized ways of use of digital resources and tools, and personal knowledge growth set into the sociocultural information practices. As for the meta-analysis of the selected 3 phenomenographic studies, I selected 3 studies at Comenius University in Bratislava, Department of Library and Information Science, which were completed in 2015 and 2019. The first one is the dissertation project by Fazik, focused on information literacy of newcoming university students. He used written tasks, drawings, with 281 students and 40 students, interviewed 40 students. He used phenomenographic analysis, and his outcome space includes concepts of digital technologies, concept of knowledge, and concept of tools. The digital literacy is connected mainly with the values of truth, protection of privacy, and building responsibility of information use. The second project was the dissertation project by Novakova, focused on information ethics in digital information interactions. She was interested in different online information behaviors compared to traditional information environment, and this is called the personalization of a moral agent. She interviewed 25 students in online groups, again used phenomenographic analysis, and her outcome space included concepts of values, online environment, psychological factors, situational factors, social factors. This was visualized in a matrix. But what is interesting here, the main common context were emotions, both positive like pleasure, joy, and the negative like hatred and anxiety. Her recommendations were to put emphasis on truth and to include truth into the concept of information ethics, and again the responsibility of people and the goal of human flourishing in information use. The third study was the research project led by me, focused on information behavior researchers. And we interviewed 19 top researchers, used phenomenographic analysis, concept mapping, and conceptual modeling connected to digital science and open science. Our outcome space was composed of 23 concept maps, and they represented both critical and constructive discourses. We developed common factors model based on methodologies, domain expertise, and open science, but also the model of differences among cultures of scientific disciplines. And our final models included academic information ecologies and a model of academic library. This has been published elsewhere. But the main ecological and ethical factors were again values of information, deep personal motivation, domain expertise, and creativity of researchers. And we also found that it's needed to improve infrastructures and offer some value-added services to researchers. Based on this analysis, I developed this table which shows ecological and ethical factors of digital information literacy. The main ecological factors are environmental sustainability, adaptations, socio-technological evolution, sociocultural evolution, and reuse of information. The main ethical factors include values of information based on personal development and cognitive development, but also emotions, which lead ethical intuitions and ethical sensitivity in information interactions connected to fair use of information. Last but not least, the decisive factor was the component of truth, trying to help us understand the verification of information connected to responsibility and trust of information use. And several examples of the information use are in the third column, which includes ethical access, intellectual property rights, copyright, building digital identity, protecting privacy, and connected to intentions, motivation, and personal experience and engagement of people. But also the framework of utility, which is connected to fair use, to citation culture, and to elimination of plagiarism, and many other negative unethical online information behavior, like misinformation connected to verification of information. And based on these ecological and ethical factors, I developed a conceptual model of digital information literacy related to moral literacy. The first component is the ethical access, including adaptations to the online environment, reuse of information, and knowledge of utilities, including the security of information interactions. In the second component, I visualized the personal experience, personal skills of people, especially knowledge of rules and building responsibility in online information environment. And the third component shows mainly values of information connected to emotions, which direct ethical intuitions and help us build ethical sensitivity in online information use. The first two components can build a new concept which is called personal information ecologies, and they represent the personalized pathways of people in ethical information use and in digital information literacy. And the third component is connected to creative information exploration and building creativity as part of digital information literacy. In this presentation, I reconceptualized the digital information literacy and found that we can add some new ecological and ethical factors to the concept. They include mainly values of information and truth, responsibility in information use in online environment, personal motivation, and adaptations to online environment. The new insight is that the role of emotions is decisive here, and that they direct the ethical intuitions, ethical awareness of the information environment, but also ethical reasoning and decision making in information use. The new perspective is that a digital information literacy is set into the context of personal information ecologies, which are evolving and dynamic based on personal experience, skills, but also on knowledge of the rules and responsibility, personal responsibility of people. They can be also characterized as social representations of personal experience of information use. And these personal information ecologies and digital information literacy are conditions for creative information exploration. I propose that we relate the new models of digital information literacy to moral literacy and to two components, to personal information ecologies and ethical awareness of the information environment. Personal information ecologies are personalized pathways to information resources. They are dynamic, based on experience, expertise, skills, values, and adaptations, including knowledge of digital tools. Ethical awareness is composed of digital access, ethical access to information infrastructure, including fair use, protection of personal data, but also building our human digital identity, including protecting our privacy and handling information in an accurate way, helping us protect from misinformation and other information pathologies. This can be also reflected in new citation culture, in new rules for anti-plagiarism, and in some better protection and security of the information interactions. So I propose the cultivation of ethical intuitions based on general values of information, but also ethical reasoning and ethical decision making, especially connected to construction of understanding and construction of truth, and above all, the emotions as part of communication and collaboration in the online environment. I also propose that we should further explore digital information literacy with value-sensitive analysis. This can help us add ecological factors like adaptations, reuse, personal information ecologies into the concept of digital information literacy, and also add ethical factors based mainly on ethical intuitions and emotions, but also focus on truth and verification of information and responsibility of information use. We can here use three ethical frameworks, including virtue ethics based on general values of information, but also the utilitarian ethics based on knowledge on tools, and a consequential ethics based mainly on rules of fair use of information. I propose the ecological redesign of digital information literacy models, which can help us better represent personal domain expertise, adaptations to the online environment, dynamics and evolution, but also the use of intelligent technologies connected to emotions, and above all, support of creativity and creative exploration in the information environment. This is the end. Thank you for your attention. Here are some references to documents I analyzed, and if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer them.